Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Richard Burns. Welcome to the virtual Rutherford High School Back to School Night for the 2021 school year. This is Chemistry 1, and you are welcome. I've been at Rutherford now since 2008, so this is my 13th year teaching here, and it's been a terrific experience. Prior to teaching, I was in the business world for about 30 plus years as a consultant in the management and financial investment area for pharmaceutical companies and industrial chemical companies. I had prior teaching experience at Northern Highlands High School as I was finishing up the required education credits to become a teacher in New Jersey. My time at Rutherford High School has gone like a flash, and I thank the kids for that because they come in here with a cheerful and a positive attitude, and even under these circumstances, I'm enjoying them a great deal already, and I hope that they can say the same for this course, even at this early date. We'll find out, I'm sure, in time. The goals for this course are pretty straightforward. I tell the students this on the first day. I try to allay some fears that maybe they have about this course. I tell them, look, there's really only two things we need to do. We have to understand what all of the matter in the universe is made up of, and we need to understand how we can make that matter do what we want it to do through something called chemical change. So it's not a very big list. It's just two items. They chuckle and laugh because they know they're being set up. Then they learn what I mean. They learn that we need to understand a new way of measuring and a new way of doing arithmetic, really. We have to learn the metric system and catch up with the rest of the world on that, and it's a good thing. Then we have to understand the basics of atomic structure, but not just the pure basics. So we're going to go into a little more depth, particularly as it pertains to the periodic table, and try to make some sense out of what appears to be a jumbled mass of numbers and letters actually turns out to have a wonderfully logical and organized pattern underneath of it. And when you understand that pattern, you begin to really understand some chemistry. Because once they understand that pattern, they're going to know how these elements form up to form new stuff, how all chemical bonding works, and how amazing it is at the atomic level to explain just exactly what happens and why. Because once we have that, chemistry is like building a snowman. You keep layering from the inside out. And once they know those other subjects, we can move on to the fun stuff of predicting the outcomes of chemical reactions, actually observing the reactions in the lab, seeing the outcomes and describing what we saw and why what we saw occurred. And that's where the real learning takes place. They're going to understand the phases of matter, gases, liquids, and solids, how they're the same, how they're different, how we measure their varying concentrations, how they behave under certain circumstances, and why we can make such changes to these materials just on the basis of changing temperature. When they can grasp all of that, and they will, they're going to have a good appreciation for what we call chemistry the central science. It's the heart of one of the worst jokes I tell them, which is you should never trust an atom because they make up everything. Now, I'm sure that got no laughs out there, and I can certainly understand why not. Do warn your kids that they are in for a year's worth of those sorts of bad jokes from me, and I apologize for that in advance. Grading is as straightforward, I hope, as it can be. Tests and quizzes constitute about 45% of exactly 45% of the overall grade. And then more independent work on their part is the balance of the grade. Lab work and lab reports, homework, project-based assessments, which will have sort of a lab bent to them as well, will enable them to work on their own and with me and put more information together rather than just simply responding to multiple choice questions or short answer calculation questions on a test or a quiz. I want them to take the information from class and apply it to something and write about it and use more of their senses to take this information in rather than just simply listening to me go on, which is a terrible way to spend a great deal of time. In terms of class practices, of course, we're going to strictly adhere to all the COVID-19 protocols. And while in the lab, in the classroom, my responsibility is to keep your children as safe and secure as possible. And you have my word that I will do that. If we want to be cognizant of making them successful in this course, one of the things we should do is get them to engage the material, ask questions, do the homework, be observant in the lab, try to really pull as much information out of the exercises as is possible, and ask a lot of questions. There are going to be some parts of this course they'll find tough. They can help themselves by communicating. You know about the parent portal for grades. I'm sure you've all been using it, and you should continue to do that, and I hope you take full advantage of it. Your students are very well aware of Google Classroom. They're competent on that platform, and that's good because we're going to use it for all of our class-related items, communications, distribution of assignments, and the like. I am going to hold and have been holding a daily Zoom meeting at 1:30, sort of my office hours, where any student during that time from 1:30 to 2:45 can come in and ask any questions they want, get any help that they need, review for a test or for a quiz, really just come in and gather whatever information they require. Or if they didn't understand something that day in class, gives them an opportunity to reinforce it then. I invite you to communicate with me anytime you wish. Reach out to me at the email address provided there. I will get back to you just as soon as I can. Please don't hold back. If there are any issues or concerns that you have, as soon as you make me aware of them, I will take it up with whomever I need to take it up with, or get back to you right away and come to a resolution if we're having an issue of any sort. I look forward to the day where I can meet you all face to face and maybe someday even shake hands again. Wouldn't that be nice? In the meanwhile, this will simply have to do, and I want you all to be well and be safe. And I look forward to an interesting year with your students. And like I said, keep in touch, and I'll do the same. Take care. Thanks. Good night.